I'm Johnny Wetbulb. Come on down to Pat's Peak Snow Emporium. We've got 28 trails of it.
Snow.
Hi, do you guys have
When it's
snow?
cold
Yes.
enough, snow is formed by tiny ice crystals sticking to each other in the sky until they are heavy enough to fall to the ground. As the saying goes, the Eskimos have, well, a lot of words for snow. But with the advent of ski areas, the English vocabulary has grown as well.
Okay, of course we have to start out with the word snow, then white gold. Any other suggestions?
Are you ready to slay some pow-pow?
Packed powder.
Corduroy.
Chokeable.
Mashed potatoes.
Brushies. Corn snow.
Slush.
Crud. Champagne.
Crushed.
Sierra cement, California concrete.
The list goes on. But there is one type of snow that ski areas, such as Pat's Peak, now rely on significantly more than others.
Man-made.
This is the way it is.
Well, our snowmaking system is pretty state-of-the-art here. Being in southern New Hampshire, it's very important that we have snowmaking capabilities, as we're one of the most southern areas in the state. Snowmaking started in its infancy in the early 60s, and SMI was one of the first producers of snowmaking machinery. And we had some SMI, what they call 320s or egg beaters. And an egg beater was basically, it was one of the first airless snow guns, and it just had a big propeller blade on the end of a snow gun. It would kind of whip the water into a million pieces. And that made for a better skiing surface than grass, but you could tell the quality was a little bit not up to today's standards, and it was definitely an icier product. In the 70s, we invested in an air water plant featuring the largest single air compressor in the East Coast being used for snowmaking at the time.
You know, we couldn't afford to buy all these compressors and all that stuff, so we bought an old compressor that was used originally in the Packard Auto Factory to make cars, and then it was sold out of there and it went to Maine for a shoe factory. So, you know, it really didn't have hardly any value, so we bought it like real cheap and moved it down. Because it was a big old antique, but put out a lot of air.
Quite a little piece of work that unit was. When they started it up, the lights in town used to dim. But as she got going, the doors in the maintenance shop would flutter back and forth. As us, as snowmakers, as soon as that unit started, we were out of the building. It was very scary to see that thing go with the flywheel whipping around. As soon as they started up, you'd see the arcs of sparks on the wall. And we'd all run out the door and get near a snow gun and get it ready to fire up immediately as soon as we heard she's making air.
Snow White and the 7 wells we used to use. Snow White was referred to as the air compressor, and the 7 wells were what we used to power our snowmaking system. We had 7 wells located throughout the property, and they each yielded between 10 to 20, maybe 30 gallons a minute, and they all fed into a central system. She came online in 1972.
That was kind of a lucky time to do it because the first no-snow year we had since we'd been in business happened that next winter, after we put it in.
So the timeline of our guns was we've had the egg beaters in the 60s, we got rid of them, and we went to some homemade guns, which we affectionately called either rice guns or 6-packs. We ran about a dozen of them at a time. They moved a lot of water, but they weren't the most efficient product. Omicrons were kind of all the rage in the 80s and 90s, and we still use them on occasion today.
Snowmaking back in the 90s was kind of antiquated. We had big air water guns. We had only 2 snowmaking pumps. We could only move about 800 to 900 gallons a minute.
But since the 90s, everything has been focused on reducing the energy footprint of snowmaking. During the 1990s and the 2000s, we modernized the system extensively, increased our water pumping capability, and we've got a great system now.
It was really hard to make snow back in the day there. The technology wasn't there to produce high volumes of snow at lower energy costs. It was very manual intensive, and it took forever to get this hill open. We used to not make snow on Hurricane until about February vacation, and now we can do it Christmas week.
So I want to really do a big shout out to the Pat's Peak snowmakers. You know, we've got a number of guys that come back year after year, probably approaching 100 years of experience. These guys and gals put themselves out there each and every day to give us the best ski conditions, and I'm really proud of the snow surface that we put out there on a daily basis.
I love it. I wouldn't be doing it for all these years if I didn't love snowmaking. As soon as I got out of high school, I started making snow, and I thought it was a fun career, and look at me now. 30-something years later, I'm still doing it.